NACOFAC is the network of farmers and producer organization in the Gambia. NACOFAC is a member of ROPA, and through NACOFAC we are able to develop proposals with the collaboration with IPAR in Senegal. It's a research institution. We have collaborated to develop a proposal for the dissemination of the voluntary guideline.
About before the implementation of the voluntary guideline through the support from the IPAR, NACOFAC and Fish Smokers Association. It was at a time when the Gambia, our farmers, especially the women, were striving very well in relation to access and ownership of land.
Bari bimbe tembe da min to nga wosi oke Mansakunda molie nga wosi oke kabilo molie nga wosi oke alkalo li aynin sefol pour kaje ko musol fanase banko mbasto la nyame bari bim bulata wo wosi kachal kono mbe tembe da min to silang musu jama bije min yalon ko ye fansun keno soto ike fan yirwandi da min ko nanyi gadi no sifat
am mooy affaire suuf itam war nañ see mun a yaatal bi nga xam ne boo tee gaal yi fi ñu war leen a aj problème la dee nekk même fi ñu war a defaree gaal war nañoo am ceeb waa mi bu ñëwee ñu xam ne fii lay war a defaree gaal yi suñu place yi itam pour fi ñoo defal machine auto engine esto yi war nañ ko mun a am mu correct am na war nañoo mun a am fi ñu war a mbaale defar ay mbaal di ko mun a lal.
ñun nappkat yi ak lifin mbaalikat yi yëpp duñ boole ci affaire suuf ren nag NACOFAC am na projet bi ñu ñëw wax ñu pour léegi liñ gis bu njëkka affaire suuf nappakat yi duñ ci boole te kuy mbaal ci géej dafa am suuf.
be lun tawal na ta ñame jam na foreso lam janti foreso dum sate musol ni cewul bele sita e kamfo ko se foreso nyin kantandi dimbala ani tiñar lal men bina foreso kono kantu wate ni yiro ka boy aka ke yiro ka boy wate ata keno la foreso de nga tankandi dimbala sango sanka fentutuje andum fana nim lafta pour kana jam fana ka loñini jang comité la kasi e yele moliye sate cewle yele moliye ngana dum foreso kono nga loñini je o loñino fana manke wate tili sabalen tili nani
na nyindo na foreso maral nya e woleje ay nyabo ni raye nyabo na radio to nyata nyuni mole men ko surata demaro la wole nyin kan simma ka to ndolla jammala ndolla janke wir kan foreso maro woni santema wasira sanji tan sabo
ndolla keno janga manke nye problème ti kewol ye keno kewol ni la keno la ninna keno ye keno bulanye nka seno kyala yo ani nim fulanja mbala fanan ndolla do dulato do ka kijanga sembo ka wara bari nan do dula ay problème sotole min keta koti yo kodum wala mu fenti hani ye mo fu banko la aya table wala fisiyata dina nin ko e duila do banko kan katu ko o ka beleta ka fo ko ngai fule nyina ya do ku jariyata wotije ko ka beleta.
Nation is for 4 countries, Mali, Gambia, Senegal and Mauritania. We are the 4 countries that the pilot projects that IPAR has developed so that for the dissemination of the voluntary guideline. During that dissemination, we have conducted the launching. First of all, we conducted the launching. After the launching, during the launching, we have realized that there should be a need to set a national committee. And national committee, because Gambia we have a national committee, which is the National Committee for the Family Farming. We say now, rather than to have a duplication of effort and to make sure that all the institutions are involved, we have open the National Committee for Family Farming to be the platform of
talking on the voluntary guidelines, that is to say, before the introduction of it into this country, or before the involvement of us as parliamentarians, how we see land issues, how we discuss land issues, it seems to be very, very, very limited because of the capacity that we had before the voluntary guideline. Land issue in the Gambia normally is based on this traditional or communal land ownership, of which we have clans that own lands, and they give out lands to people whom they want and whom they don't want, either on hire basis or on rental basis. It used to be the case in the Gambia for quite a long time. Well, after the coming of this voluntary guideline, definitely when we had the training as a select committee on agriculture and rural development, we tend to understand better. And it also assists us as members of parliament the approach that we should take to be able to try to solve the land issues. The involvement, or after the training that we had with IPAR and other donor agencies that came with this voluntary guideline, we take it up because we got the better understanding of what those land ownership should be. So we tend to also make trainings or workshops or go to our constituencies to discuss with our leaders in the communities, the alcalos, the CFOs, and all the stakeholders, for them also to understand what those voluntary guideline is all about. After all those activities, definitely, as of now, I can tell you, we in the parliament, through the help of the voluntary guideline, we are able to influence the government to set up a land commission, which is going to work on these land issues. That is to redemarcate the country. The country has been demarcated well before today.
I was privileged to attend the training on the voluntary guidelines on land governance. But before the training, I was confronting a lot of complaints from farmers, particularly during the rain season, regarding farmlands. You see, because you see in the provinces, a farmer using a land for 15, 20 years, but still does not own the land, but have only user right. The owner of the land can just come one day and then take it. You see, so I started to make investigation as to the type of land laws that we have until I had this training on voluntary guideline on land, which came up with key issues that the government should respect the right of the original owners and should must come with laws to protect the original owners. So I also saw during the training in the voluntary guideline that every landowner must register his or her own land for safety.
The recommendations I just elaborate on is to have a study tour so that we can also learn from our sister brothers from neighboring countries. We can learn from them how they go with their land tenure system and how role did they have, what role did they have in the land tenure system, so that we can also come and then impose it, and then we sensitize it to our localities, so our fishing areas. That is the main activities we are doing. Then when you have radio and TV programs, that also will give us more sensitization, and also will give us more knowledge of the land tenure system, because they will just elaborate on the importance of the land, and they will also know our role on the land, so that we will have more dialogue will come together, and then we'll have dialogue will come together, and we also have no dispute on the land area.
Presently, I mean, the Farmer's Eye is dealing with issues that can enlighten the people to register their land. That is one way of sensitizing them. And then the commercial radios and private radios are also picking up that issues like Tranga, which they are translating and people are getting aware. But there is one fundamental thing that people can do. That is, the farm organization can do what we call face-to-face. They can go and meet the village development committees, the people, and then sensitize them a day or two about their rights and how to register their lands.
For the continuity of these voluntary guidelines, it's very important that we look into still, one, promoting more awareness creation, especially at grassroots level. Most of our farmers do not understand critically what are the legal and the land laws that exist in the country. So we need to pursue to promote that. Then the other part of the recommendation is also to recommend for more studies to be carried out, and also more training opportunities to be given out, especially in terms of agronomic best practices, in terms of follow up on the implementation of the voluntary guidelines, and also to support in the area of policy formulation and also policy implementations. These are key. Women access and ownership to land, all these are activities that are making recommendation that we should continue to respond to the clauses of the voluntary guidelines in terms of supporting new innovations that will capture and that will promote the attainment of the voluntary guidelines. Like I said, training is essential. More awareness creation is essential. We can conduct radio panel discussions, TV shows, as well as we can organize bantabas, caravans, and even use the traditional communicators, to sensitize the grassroots people to be aware of their land rights. There are laws in the Gambia that are bounded by, that are linked to land allocations, but our people are not aware of this. So I will urge all partners and supporters, to take cognizance of this. That is in terms of more training, capacity building, and awareness creation.
The voluntary guideline is a guide to enable countries to develop their land reform. Then land reform cannot be good without a correct, inclusive dialogue. I think that if you are talking about land reform, it should be done through a very good strategy. That strategy should be inclusive dialogue. Why I'm saying inclusive dialogue? That's what we have done. We have included the fisheries people, they have share on the land, the pastoralists have a share on the land, the carpenter, the public, the education sector, all these things have a share on the land. Because if you are talking development, wherever are you going to put development, it should be in the land. So God has made this land for human being activities. But today I'm saying this voluntary guideline, dissemination of the voluntary guideline prepared by FAO and other donors and all stakeholders, so civil society organizations, we need to disseminate the results. That's why we as the farmers-based organizations, in collaboration with IPAR and also in collaboration with its donors, IFAD and FAO and Gambia government, we are able to do the sensitization, training workshops for journalists, for parliamentarians to discuss issues related to land. Because we cannot talk about land governance without talking to the people who are in the agricultural sector, without talking to the people who are pastoralists, without talking to people who are fishermen, because fishing area will provide land. Education also, where they build schools and madrasas and daras, is on land. The women's also, the children's, everybody has share on land. That's why we have, the process we have used, it was inclusive dialogue. And the second point is most important during our process. It was when people came at the end of every workshop or every sessions, people came with tangible recommendations. And those recommendations have gear to help us and to help the Gambia government to make sure to talk about land reform. Land reform is to look at it, the ownership of the land, the use of the land, and the control of the land. These are the three key issues of land. And during the examination, we are able to know exactly who are the owner. The primary user of the land are the farmers, as the family farming, are the farmers. The secondary users are the investors who are coming and pay their money and they give them land so that they can invest, they can work on it. Then the tertiary users of the land are those who are coming temporary. They just work on it and return it to the ownership. Then I think these three elements need to be very clear in all the land reform: the ownership, the control, and the land use. If that is clear, there will be no conflict. Land, no farmer. No farmer, no food. No food, no survival. Land is capital on human survival.